what you're going to be asked to do on the test. So they tell us that we are looking at the population and it doubles, so that's one of the first things we need to know. And we're talking about in 1950 there was 1,650 residents. So it says N is going to represent a decade and P is our population. So P is equal to our population started with. And so if I ask you to write an equation on the test, you have to have like a variable y equals P equals in this case. And they told us it was doubling, so that's where the 2 times. And then we are taking it to the n power. We are talking about n being a decade. So from 50 to 2, from 1950 to go up to the year 2000, we are talking about how many decades? We're talking about 5. So when we are taking a look at this, we are going to get our answer, we are going to put in our calculator 1650 times 2, and we're going to have it to the 5th power. And then that's the population you're giving me. Okay? So on the test, it'll be very similar. First part of the question, I'll ask you to write this equation. Second part will be tell me what you get. So when we take a look at number 22, they ask us to write a recursive formula using that it's going to only bounce to 75%. So what you're thinking of is you're dropping this ball, and you're dropping it, and as you drop it, it bounces back up, and so each time it's bouncing up, and it's not bouncing as high. So the first time it was here, now it's down. This is a 75% drop, or it went down to 75% of its original height. So when we are looking at writing our equation, height 1, h sub 1, was equal to, we started at 3.75, right? That's what we're starting with. What is happening each time? So h sub n, and the reason they use h instead of g, because we're talking about the height. You could have had g sub n, I would have been fine with that. The ratio is 0.75 times g to the n minus 1 for n greater than 1. It says write an explicit formula. So for our explicit formula, g to the n is going to be equal to, if we are looking at that one, what we want to look at is, it said we start at 5 meters. So this was my 0, right? So we are looking at 5 times 0.75, if we are looking at it, to the n. Oh, if you use this one, could you have had this formula? G to the n equals 3.75 times 0.75 to the n minus 1. I would have taken either of these 2 answers. They both didn't give us the same thing. So that then when we are putting this one in, you're trying to find the height after 10 bounces. You're using n equals 10, either in this equation where you started with 5, or 3.75, and you would have had 9. Okay. Page 26. So our test is Friday. And like I said, depending on the weather and what happens, you're working on the review. So to have those extra days to practice, answers are going to be in the back as you do the odds. There are 50 points on the test. The first one, I can construct an exponential function. There are 4 questions on that. I will give you a table and say, write the equation. So when you construct this exponential function, I'm really wanting you to write an equation, right? Our equation for exponential is the y equals a times b to the x. A lot of them won't have a plus c. Okay, so I'll give you a table of values. I might give you a graph and say write the equation from the graph. So you have to find the y-intercept and you got to find what it's being multiplied by. And then I'm going to give you a story. One of the stories will be a decay. And I'll say it's going down, like the population is going down by 4%. You'll need to know that you're not multiplying by 0.04, but by 0.96. Or I might say, oh, there's an appreciation in your, whatever you just bought, it's going up by 10% each year, then that would be a growth one, okay? So again, making sure you know how to find your multiplier that you're looking at, your ratio. The next standard that you are looking at You need to be able to write a geometric sequence. You're going to have one question explicit, one question that's recursive. On that first one, the 4 questions are 14 points. I think there's one for 2 points and all the rest were 4 points. Okay. Here, each of these, this is going to be a total of 8 points, so 4 points each. Okay. The next standard is that I can simplify. This is like your quiz. So think back to the quiz that we took. Some of you did really well on that quiz, that 48-point quiz. Each problem was 4 points. Same thing here. This is about half of your test, right? 24 points. So those 6 questions are just like the quiz. That's where you're going to have, when you do the simplified, no negative exponents, right? You're going to have something maybe to the 0 power. You're going to have, so like your quiz, if you think about those problems, you're going to have like some of them that have division, multiplication, power to a power, negative exponents. In your final answer, you want to make sure that it's positive. So all positive exponents. And then the last one that you're going to be asked to do, there's one question as we are looking at that. That one question is going to be 4 points. You're going to be asked to graph an exponential function. So you want to know what scale to use, so you're going to make an XY table. So when you graph that, you should be telling me like the values from -2, -1, 0, 1, 2. You're going to find your Y value. You will then go and decide, oh, is it going to be like all above my graph? Like, is it going to be this type of a graph or here? Or is it going to be that, you know, I'm going to set my scale and it's going to be below the graph? But it should definitely be exponential and curvy. So if you get a nice straight line, you probably did something wrong if you were looking at that. Okay?